Welcome to the Cornwall Slush'D Pitch Competition 2024. I'm so happy to have you here. We've got 18 startups showcased throughout the day today, and we've got 9 startups pitching this morning. Some are looking for investment, others have other big asks, and they're at various stages of the journey. They are all registered on ShipShape VC, so if you like what you've seen today, go and check them out on ShipShape. You can find more about their company information there. The format today is they've got 4-minute pitch and then they've got 5-minute Q&A with our judges this morning. So I'm really happy to welcome Laura Elvin from I Use Genius, Nick Eversett from Canopy Community, and Emma Osman from Google. This is in partnership with Google Cloud, so I'm so excited that the Google team are here today to support our startups. So do grab them after. They're going to be here all day to talk to you. And thank you so much, guys, for your support. We really appreciate you being here and judging today. We have a bit of a code of conduct at Tech Cornwall, and it's all about just being really nice to each other and excellent. Some of the startups pitching today, quite nervous, some of them pitching for the first time, some of them are more experienced. Please give them lots of smiles, lots of applause, lots of support. We try and take the pressure off these sorts of things. They're working really, really hard. So please show them your support, make them feel really welcome, and be really friendly to them, and give them, lots of support and lots of cheering as well. They're pitching for a really cool prize. So there's a whole prize pack. We've got some legal support from Morale Associates, who supported us for this event. We've got mentoring with I Use Genius. There's credits and mentoring with Google, the Google Cloud team. There's mentoring with Cornwall Space Cluster. Cornwall Trade and Investment have supported on this. They can help with export and investment as well. They're going to win a ticket to get to Slush in Helsinki with thanks to the Cornwall Space Cluster team. Tech Southwest are giving them a golden ticket to their Growth Forge programme. And obviously there's loads of PR and support around this as well. So thank you so much to everyone who's put in a prize to support our startups. We're super grateful. And once the pitches have finished, if all the startups could join me on stage with the judges, we'll have a photo of everybody as well. One for the cabinet, because we'd really love to get a photo. So do stick around afterwards. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to hand over to Emma Osman, who's just going to say a couple of words from Google. And best of luck to all our pitches. I'm not going to come back in between pitches. You guys are going to introduce yourselves. I'm just going to let it run, but I will keep to time. So I will cut you off if you go over. So please do stick to time and best of luck. Please welcome Emma.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. How are we feeling today? Are we excited? I think we can do better than that. Are we excited? Okay, good. There are so many innovators and creators. For the people that are going to be pitching, bit of advice, have fun, enjoy it. You are inventors. We're aware that it's really hard running a startup, that you end up doing multiple things and doing multiple roles. And that's why I think it's so important that events like this take place. And, Google Cloud, we want to support you. We offer all sorts of support, technical support, business development, credits so that you can build on Google Cloud. And we are really proud to be a part of today's event. So again, best of luck. And I'm sure you're all going to smash it. Have a good time.
Okay, please welcome our first startup. For those pitching, please stay at the lectern, speaking to the mic. This helps with accessibility and also picks up on our video feed as well. So over to Tracy at Cherish.
How would you feel if your child's potential was never unlocked? According to the NHS, 1 in 6 children have a probable mental health condition. Over half of mental health conditions start before the age of 14. Specialist services are failing to keep up. The problem is that we're using old world methods, taking children out of class for support after problems arise. And there is no connection between home and school. They're treated as separate entities. With this growing disconnection, how can we unlock potential? So Cherish is a unique approach to mental wealth. The focus is preventive and promotive. We provide primary schools with short, fun, daily, inclusive, experiential videos to help improve mental health and build resilience. Cherish is filmed around self-belief, building relationships, understanding feelings and emotions, and happiness. And children have the opportunity to learn tools and knowledge, both in school and at home, to actually experience feeling safe, calm, confident, and motivated to learn. Feedback from Cherish includes hundreds of testimonials and stories, including a whole master's dissertation, which analysed the data collected from schools. Children predominantly tell us about how it's helped them to feel calm. Staff talk about how it's improved their mindsets and improved a sense of gratitude. Parents talk about normally uncommunicative children being eager to share their strengths. Cherish uses an annual subscription rate for both schools and the upcoming family app. The University of Plymouth market research analysis on Cherish found at least 4 USPs. Cherish is the only product that is short, 7 minutes a day and half that in school, and half that time at home. Daily, habit forming, children are using the practices in their own lives, and preparation free. It actually has been found to support the well-being of staff as well. The total addressable market makes Cherish highly scalable. We already have sales in the UK and successful international trials. Through over 30 years of teaching experience, including 10 years of teaching mindfulness in lots of very different schools, I know about the challenges facing children, families, and primary schools themselves. And the root of these challenges is mental health and well-being. Since co-creating Cherish with children and staff in local schools, a whole host of incredible people who are extremely experienced have just come on board, because they believe in the difference that the preventative measure has on primary school children, schools, and families. The table shows a conservative estimate of sales. Our family and homeschooling model is an equal service to Cherish in schools. It's under final review and expected to greatly increase future income and profitability. We expect profitability by year 3, and we have year 5 exit plans. We are looking for 200,000 worth of investment. We're SEIS eligible, and Cherish to date has been funded by a substantial amount of my own savings. The drive behind Cherish comes from an overriding passion to give all children the opportunity to realise their true potential. We have the opportunity, we have the capability, we have the resourcefulness, and you could be part of the transformational next stage resources. So thank you very much. Over to you for questions. Thank you.
Well done for going first. Lovely idea. I guess I'd love to know, I know it's hard, how do you measure the effectiveness of the Cherish?
Yeah, thank you. So what we've been using is we have a pre and post snapshot survey, which is just 10 closed questions that the children complete, because many of these things we get a lot of feedback from the adults, but we really wanted to get children's feedback. And also we have a summative survey, which is on Google Forms, which goes out to staff as well as children, and that's qualitative and quantitative. Yeah, but we are R&D is something I really, really would like to focus on a lot more, and I'm talking to Exeter University at the moment about getting academic partnership on board as well, because that's really important to us.
Hi Tracy, thank you so much for a really clear pitch. Really enjoyed it, and as someone who's actually had background as a primary school teacher myself, I know how important these initiatives are. My question was really around the marketing side of it. Often schools are quite notoriously difficult to get into in terms of their marketing. I was wondering how you're going to approach that.
Yeah, thank you. So far, it's been very much word of mouth, which has been absolutely fantastic. And as I say, with international trials, that's led to international schools wanting to buy, which is amazing. And we will be targeting LEAs and Academy Trust groups and things, marketing. And sorry, I'm a bit nervous. We've got a lot of contacts between us, the team, and also, I think attending conferences and promoting it through all the educational channels. At the moment, because it's priced very competitively, it's really has not been a problem to get it out there.
Hi, Tracy. I'm Laura.
Hi.
Well, thank you so much for the pitch. We love to hear about positive impact focused businesses. So it's very clear that you've got an important problem that you're trying to tackle with what you're doing. On that note, is there anybody else that you're aware of in your competitive landscape who you think might be looking to do the same thing or already is? The second bit would be to flourish a bit more on the use of funds and the go-to-market. As my colleague pointed out, it's the B2B sales cycle that in EdTech that can sometimes come up or with these particular targets of sales. So really kind of flourishing on the competitive landscape, the use of funds, and just tell us a bit more on those points. That would be really helpful.
Yeah, sure. I've forgotten the first bit now. Sorry, what was your first one?
Competitive landscape. So
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, we're obviously keeping a very close eye on this. There really is nothing at the moment, but it's the future potential. It's looking at what companies maybe could potentially move into, especially companies that are a lot bigger than us. So yeah, and also looking at looking at the bigger market and the international market as well. Regarding going to market and sales, we already do have links with a very large education authority in the UK. We've got access to actually get Cherish into the whole of that one, and we've also got links set up with the US and quite a lot of international schools as well, and also through the homeschooling, the Families app. So there's 125,000 homeschooling children in the UK, 3.1 million in the US. So it really is quite a big market, and we're obviously keeping an eye on the competitors. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hi Tracy. I've got another question. So you've obviously got quite ambitious plans in terms of growth. So how are you going to manage developing your team going forward? Because obviously that's a really important part of any startup, is making sure you've got a strong team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I cannot vouch enough for my team at the moment, and yeah, we have been doing this on such an incredible budget, and people have just been so amazingly giving. The amount of people that have just come into my life and given so much has been incredible. But I'm not the business expert. I'm lucky enough to have Michael and Steve on board for that. So yeah, unfortunately, they could answer those questions really well. But so I'm learning. I'm a teacher, as you are. So yeah, I'm learning all about the best way forward with all of these different things as well. Yeah.
Well done, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There we go. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Aidan Wilkinson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hydropower Pods, and I'm here to tell you about our innovative hydroelectric power generator business. This is what hydroelectric power means to most people. Large dams in the upper course of rivers that rely on water falling through gravity through turbines and generating power. The power generation requires a significant amount of head. Why is that moving on? Which is the difference in height between where the water enters the system and where it leaves. They're quite efficient, but they have high infrastructure costs and consequently a long payback time. They're not very environmentally friendly, having a major impact on natural ecosystems, both during construction and in operation. The reason we don't see hydropower in the lower reaches of rivers is that generally the head isn't enough, dropping maybe 1 to 2 meters every kilometre. And there are currently no scalable solutions that can generate power economically with this level of head. In the UK alone, though, there are over 250,000 miles of waterways that fall into this category. So being able to utilise this in a cost-effective way is what we set about to do. So our solution, which is shown there, is an environmentally and fish-friendly turbine that uses the river's depth and flow as well as using gravity. By utilising the flow of water through a venturi chamber, we create suction at the bottom of the turbine. This multiplies the water flow through the turbine 3 times and generates 3 times as much power as a conventional turbine. Using this solution in lower courses of rivers makes generation of power economically viable. Hydropower Pods turbines will be very cost effective. Hydro is available 24/7. That means that the power we generate adds to the baseline capacity of the grid. In other words, it's always there. This sets it apart from other renewables like solar and wind power that are not 24/7 and subject to weather and time of day constraints. Our tier 1 market is shown in green. Those are places where we've already made contact with people and have traction with local partners, public authorities, or potential early customers. And we pride ourselves in being a green renewable energy provider, and that all we do is guided by our ethical positioning. Our revenue model is based on extensive research into time to market factors, which are very influenced by the country's hydropower policies and their regulations. We have sites already identified in South Africa, Nigeria, Poland, and the UK, which will drive our early year revenues. We have a grant from the Science and Technology Facilities Council to refine our design with more modelling. And the University of Plymouth is giving us access to their world-class testing facilities and has also decided to establish a 2-year PhD course based around our patent pending design. We have some commercial traction already, a letter of intent from a South African company, and our manufacturing partner, AmiBlue, has introduced us to those companies there and has also identified the site in Poland, which is where their manufacturing is based. And our local partner in Nigeria has identified two locations for first deployments. So our funding so far, we've got SEIS and EIS pre-approval from HMRC, and we've raised 70,000. We're looking to raise a further 400,000. And I'll leave you with a picture of our mug shots, which is too scary for anybody this close after breakfast. I can take these off now. Thank you.
Hi, Aidan, Nora. Always lovely to hear about new climate tech-based solutions, and agree with you there that the sort of main issues are baseload power and sort of consistent power, but also in your area, CapEx is very important. So can you talk to me a bit more about the cost efficiency that you're delivering, how you compare to things like tidal in terms of the scale that you could really achieve, i.e. the level and the size and number of sites that might be potentially viable for your solution.
Okay.
And thirdly, would you be able to talk about patents? Have you got to that stage yet? And really what's underpinning your technology offering?
Okay, I won't necessarily take them in that order. So the first thing is patents. We filed our first patent application just over a year and a bit ago. So that's in the process. We've subsequently filed an international patent. That was around Easter time, I think. We've got 6 more that we're ready to file because of the uniqueness of our design. We're constrained currently by the funding required to do that. We've spent probably a quarter of the money we've raised so far on patent applications and the like. So that's one part. In terms of the sites available, I mean, it would be, sounds facetious, but there are literally millions of sites that we would be able to access because of the technology. We've already found 5 in the UK that we know we can access straight away with landowners who are really keen. One's a farmer, one's got a big stately home, and one's actually a disused fish farm, which is actually a really good site to use. So we're not short of sites. That's definitely the case. And what we've done is we've actually built ourselves a geographical information system. We spent about 10,000 of our money on that. So we've got maps of all the rivers in all the countries of the world, and all their flow rates, which is available online, which we now port into that. We may even decide to float that off as a separate business if everybody else thinks it's good. But we're certainly using that in order to target places to put things, not just sitting back and waiting for people to come to us. So I think it's a bit of a more proactive way of finding business. Was there something else? Oh, the capex, yeah. So it's not that expensive to build one. We're building in glass reinforced plastic rather than concrete, which is actually more eco-friendly, but is also cheaper, and importantly is also lighter, so it's easier to transport around and do installations with. In terms of the size, we think we're probably limited to about 100 kilowatts as a the largest size that we could build. But of course, the way the technology works, we can have a number of them in series or in parallel. They don't interfere with one another. You can have the output of one go straight into the input of another one potentially. So there is a way of multiplying up the power that way.
Thank you very much indeed. Very exciting. These kind of ideas and initiatives. I was curious to know. You mentioned you're obviously developing the product. Do you have any idea of when you think it's going to be sort of commercially available in the market?
So we built a proof of concept about a year ago. So that's how we've tested out to make sure that the thing worked and it was worth investing in and getting people to invest in. We've now got a scale prototype, which is actually based on the modelling design that we've done, and it's a very iterative process. You build the model, you take the readings, you build a physical model, you check whether the readings match your model, and then you feed the data back in and refine and refine and refine. And the grant that we've got from the Science Technology Facilities Council is for computer modelling, using a different approach to model the flow of the water through the system. So we should be able, the idea out of that is to have an optimum, a model that allows us to decide what the optimum size of generator is for a particular deployment. So you just put in the stats for the river, and the model will come out and tell you should put this size in and do it that way. So I think we've got that. We're probably about a year away from a first deployment. I think we're targeting Q4 for the first customer, but I think we'll be doing our own internal deployment. The fish farm, we're thinking of maybe having a sort of a showcase on that location.
That's time, I'm afraid.
Oh, sorry.
Well done.
Thank you.
So just check this. Right. Hello, I'm Eleanor.
And I'm Sam.
And we are Climati. We're tackling the world's most potent greenhouse gases. They're a class of chemicals called fluorinated gases, and they include this one called SF6, which is used as an insulator for high voltage switchgear in electrical substations like you see in the picture. 1 kilogram of this gas is equivalent to flying 80 times between London and New York. F-gases have other uses as well. They're used in refrigeration, in cooling for data centres, and in manufacturing, semiconductors, and flat screen TVs. But the problem is they leak, and that's where Climati comes in. We're developing technology to capture fluorinated gases from leak sites, starting with SF6 in electricity grids. We've got expressions of interest in our technology from National Grid and from EDF in the UK. We're currently in the lab, but we'll be doing field trials in the first quarter of next year. Globally, F-gases represent a problem cost of over £300 billion every year. Just to make that more granular, for National Grid in the UK, their SF6 inventory is equivalent to a £6 billion liability if you apply the full social costs of carbon. We estimate that if we can sell our hardware to 5% of the 3,000 grid companies across the world, we will achieve sales of £500 million within 10 years. So what's the competition look like? So alternative capture technologies have not successfully come to market for technical reasons. Regulation is our friend. It's driving action on emissions, but it's also stimulating competition, particularly in the form of alternative gases. However, even in the most regulated markets, SF6 continues to be deployed apace as we accelerate electrification of our economies for net zero. So we globally have at least 50 years of market ahead of us. Last year, we were backed by Carbon 13, the venture builder, and this year we've raised over £50,000 in non-dilutive funding. And we're currently raising a pre-seed round of 350k to accelerate our technical development and apply for patents and IP. So, as I said, I'm Eleanor, I'm CEO of Climate Eye. I started my career at McKinsey, but for the last 9 years, I was leading teams on international climate change in the UK government, including for COP26. Handing over to Sam.
Thank you, Eleanor. And so I'm CTO. My background is growing up off-grid without mains electricity, wiring up wind turbines and solar panels for power, followed by studying electronic engineering and business. And then my career has been building teams of amazing people to develop innovative solutions. We're now building our amazing team at Climate Eye, including Professor Andrew Atkins, who's working with us on capture, and then a fantastic team of advisors that are covering everything from chemistry through to machine learning and predictive data analytics for leaks. So join us to get these world's most powerful greenhouse gases back in the bottle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. And what a strong team. I would love to know a little bit more about your go-to-market strategy and how long, a little bit more on the roadmap for that as well.
Yeah. So from a sort of technological point of view, we see that we should be able to develop it to a commercialization relatively quickly compared to comparable technologies that are used for carbon dioxide. Basically, the fundamental science that we're using is at a stage where we think we can sort of adapt that relatively quickly. But in terms of the sort of commercial strategy, we've started off by starting in the UK, going to electricity networks and generators. Electricity networks speak a lot to each other. So by starting with National Grid, people look to them. So we see that if we can succeed with National Grid, that will open up the UK networks quite quickly. In Europe, we've been targeting a lot of the big grid companies have innovation arms. So we're kind of going in through innovation arms to try and get some sort of pilots with them. And then basically on the lookout constantly for contacts wider than that. So we've had one conversation with electricity network in the US with their engineers. So that's been a little bit more ad hoc, but as we kind of establish ourselves in the UK and then Europe, then we'll sort of learn more about the kind of networks and business associations that can kind of unlock other markets as well.
And I'd also add in there, thanks to Eleanor, that it's having good relationships with the regulators and in terms of how policy is formed around the reduction and capture of these gases. That also sort of helps our market, because if it's regulated for and it's required, it makes your go-to-market somewhat easier.
Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great to know that people are working on these really difficult hidden dangers that we face in our kind of modern world. My question was kind of just to understand a little bit more, what does this product actually do, and how is it different from what your competitors could offer, and how easy would they be for them to copy what you actually do at the moment?
So what is it actually doing? So it's catching, we're focused to start with on SF6. So we're catching a gas that's in the air, but co-located to the assets it's leaking from. So it's, in a way, it's cheating. I think the best analogy really is a dehumidifier. So you go, oh, okay, we've had a leak, it's a really damp room, so you put a dehumidifier in there. So you're a lot easier than taking it from your background atmospheric concentration, which might be 15 parts per million globally for SF6, whereas you'll be at several hundred parts per million in a substation building where there's some leaks. So we're catching that directly. Sorry, I've forgotten now your second part. About the competition. So it's quite new that anyone cares about this gas. So not long ago, it's invisible, no one can see it, you just let it go. Now it's the world's most potent greenhouse gas, and regulation has caught up. You can't. So there's not a long track record of people trying to catch it. The priority, and well, still today, is health and safety. So you mechanically ventilate, get it out the way for the safety of your staff. So the competition really has come sort of out of universities developing chemistry to go, well, can we absorb these gases, etc. And that's sort of going, oh, here's a potential. Can we make it fit the real world? Our approach is being really go to the networks, understand their problem and their challenge. How can we make a solution that works in practical terms? So we're sort of coming the other way to build something that's practical and that can be deployed and scaled in short amounts of time, rather than taking a new bit of material science and trying to scale it.
Sort of off the back of that question, so really around the technology risk is where some investors can lean their questions towards in the case of scientific-based solutions, and ones that are particularly scaling out of the lab, because that sounded like that's the point that you're up to at the moment. So when this reaches the scale of the national grid, is there any technological...
So sorry, time is up. I'm going to have to cut you off.
Oh, it's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank
you. Hello everyone, my name is Denis. I'm CEO and founder of NLSQL, B2B software as a service startup. Our team consists of 4 top industry experts with relevant working experience in AI, machine learning, software and business development. This team has raised Innovate UK funding and did the first commercial sales for NLSQL. Combined, we have an extensive experience in order to drive our business forward faster. Our mission is to solve data bottle analytics problem between technical and non-technical employees. Non-technical employees usually lacks data accessibility, and taking company information, taking too much time for them, which could lead to decision-making process delays. With NLSQL, any company nowadays can eliminate data analytics bottleneck, empowering their employees with previously undiscovered insights. NLSQL doesn't require any sensitive or confidential data transfer outside corporate IT ecosystem, and NLSQL significantly improves operational excellence by making repetitive tasks and data analytics much more easier for end users. NLSQL empowers physicians with intuitive AI interface to patient information by comprehensive bird's eye on top of it. NLSQL has powerful data visualization capabilities, and it works flexible with medical terminology. In case of any ambiguities detected in your question, it will ask you additional question to fine-tune the proper end-user intent in your question. NLSQL reduces the number of downstream complications by providing clinicians with early notifications. These timely alerts enable physicians to prevent and mitigate potential downstream complications for the patients with multiple conditions, which is ultimately improving patient outcomes. Our product portfolio has 2 more products beside our main one, NLSQL AI Anomaly Detector, which conducts regular checks for any kind of anomaly for all of your data inside your corporate IT ecosystem, as well as Predict AI, which can help our users to select the most accurate machine learning model in order to make your predictions much more accurate. We are solving $33 billion problem of global business intelligence market. We have our first customers and pilots. The most notable customers are Philip Morris, L'Oreal, Herbert, Rival Valley Medical. The most notable pilots is GlaxoSmithKline and Delta Airlines. Along the way, we reached 35,000 of ARR, and it's growing. We have a positive customer feedback, and Delta Airlines highlighted that our team is fast for prototype implementation in the existing working environment, and our software works as same as advertised, which is usually not the same case for our competitors. Comparing us to the competitors, we have a couple of very strong competitive advantages, such as really non-technical and user focus, best industry accuracy, and flexibility using medical terminology. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So let's create the future together.
Wow, amazing business, solving an incredibly critical problem. And of course, digital intervention to drive prevention is a huge trend in VC and in investment worlds at the moment. So in terms of how you began the journey and the actual tech is what I want to get into. So the pool of data that you first utilized, where was that derived? How the proprietary moat was developed. So exactly what gives you your strength in the proprietary, which might feed off the back of the data question. And then thirdly, what's next on the tech roadmap that's going to further drive in and drive home your advantage?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So basically, it starts in 2018. We started to develop it technology with a small team, of course. But in 2019, we got the first customer. We decided to go completely on-premise integration, which was our basically mistake. It takes us more than 1 year to integrate into one of the largest Polish bank PKO group. And basically, we decided to completely rethink our software architecture because we got all this experience from the real customers. We decided to make our software cloud native and absolutely scalable because, you know, integration for 1 year for one customer, it's absolutely non-scalable. We spent a couple of more years to build it absolutely cloud native. And afterwards, we started to offer free trials for all of the customers. We got different, pilots like Delta Airlines, Aachen Uniclinic, and even more and more. And we started to suck all the feedback of real customers and especially the use case which they want us to build. And all this feedback was integrated into self-service model, which you can configure your own API using our portal, and you can basically execute your vision on how this technology can help your non-technical employees in any industry for any use case. That's our main mode for our technology. What is in the future? In future, of course, the most important, the scalability. That's why we launch, complementary products like AI prediction and AI anomaly detection and predict AI, just to accelerate our growth. We're making it price much affordable, let's say, but we want to attract more and more customers in order to scale fast. In terms of technology, of course, large language models helps us for intent detection. This very important thing which we can integrate and leverage our knowledge plus public knowledge, which is available from large language models, in order not only to calculate your previous business indicators, but also provide you some sophisticated questions about the reasons why it happened,
Thank you very much. I'd love to know a bit more about how you make sure that the data is accurate, and as I know, it's obviously quite complex data that you're working with.
Basically, we have Mimic dataset. This is one of the most popular open database from MIT for the healthcare industry. And basically this is manual testing. So we have automated testing, but automated testing is not, it's not proper enough in order to assess how the system works. So basically this is a manual testing, every time, working with key stakeholders on the company side, just to understand, are they satisfied with our solution? Does the system calculates well? They have access to SQL generated, they can check SQL, and they can, prove it or disprove, and this is, ongoing process when we do something and we check it basically manually right now.
Great, thank you. I was very curious about what I understood is that you're making data accessible for non-specialists to be able to use. How non-specialist do you have to be? Because it's all very one thing putting a query in, it's interpreting the answers correctly. How do you go about making sure that people understand what they're looking at?
Yeah, basically employees which don't know anything about your database structure, about how to use the pivot tables. So it should be like frontline employees like physicians. They don't care about the database structure, etc., etc. So that will be much more easier for them. And you are not.
I'm going to have to cut you off there, Dennis. I'm
Yeah,
so
sure,
sorry.
sure,
Well done at this time.
sure. Thank you so much.
All right. Who's up for a bit of audience participation? Of course you are. Of course you are. That's the best reaction I've had so far. Okay, cool. Perfect. You know what you need to do. Just go with me, all right? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Knock, knock. AI. AI don't know. I haven't got a sense of self. Which is kind of the problem. Because while generative AI tools like ChatGPT have made it possible for small companies everywhere to create content, marketing content at scale, what it struggles to do is to add a little bit of personality. And that's where we come in. At Kayako AI, we are combining the pace of AI with the personality of you and I to make AI-generated content more funny, more fierce, and more effective, all so that SMEs can create charismatic marketing content in as quick as a few clicks. Fancy seeing how it works? We gave Kayako the same control test. We asked it to make a social media post that was announcing the arrival of the iPhone 15. But we chose 3 very different types of companies with completely different brands. Up first, we asked it about Patagonia, and this is what it came up with. iPhone 15, reborn from yesterday's resources, blazing a trail for tomorrow's Earth. Okay, powerful, eco-conscious, works, okay. What about a very different type of company? Let's take a company that's more sensual, more seductive, a company like Dior. Now with 48 megapixel camera transforming the mundane into masterpieces of light and shadow. Ooh, that's a bit sexy. Okay, finally, a completely different example. What about a company that's really edgy, really funny, really raw? Let's take a company like Brewdog, for example. How would they announce the iPhone 15? If I'd wanted something that folds, I'd have bought a map. Hashtag sorry, not Samsung. Now imagine you could create content that good, that quickly, but now talking about your product, your service. Well, now you can. Just head to kayako.ai and define the type of content you want to create and the platform it's going to be used on. Give us a little bit of information about your company, the campaign you're running, and some of your key messages. And finally, and here's the secret sauce, choose from one of 16 predefined marker types what we call them, that help to define the tone of voice, the visual identity, and the focus of the content you're looking to create. You can sign up for a free, premium, or enterprise subscription, depending on your requirements. Okay, so that's a little bit about the product. What about the team behind it? So Kayako was started by myself, Simon Vincent, and my co-founder, Nick Dupreez, both of us experienced consultants in marketing and AI, respectively. We're supported by Stuart Harrison, who is a vastly experienced entrepreneur in the tech space, and also Dr. Leah Trathan, who is a clinical psychologist. Having launched our MVP in February of this year, we've been working with a select group of customers to improve the technology, and there should be a full version of the technology available in the coming weeks. Once it is, we will be starting the first of 2 planned raises over the next 3 years, all aimed at being able to expand functionality of the product, as well as improving the IP. The target addressable market for this is obviously huge, about 40 million worldwide, but in this particular raise, we think that we could reach circa 15,000 users with these 2 raises, and by which time this version of Kayako should be profitable, and actually investors should be looking to get some returns. So if you are an investor who has scaled tech companies, who has contacts with companies that might be interested in using us, including marketing agencies, and or you just simply dig really cool marketing, please come and see me at my stall over in the Venture Village later today. Thank you.
Well done, and good on you for having some fun.
Sorry.
How do you generate your market types accuracy and cultural relevance? And do you have any competitors? How do you
Thank you.
differ?
That is a wonderful question. Thank you so much for asking that question, because this is my area of fun. Okay, so the market types are based off psychological tests. So Myers-Briggs, disc modeling, Enneagram, any of these that people have used before. I am an enthusiastic amateur in those sorts of areas, but then Leah Trathan, who is on our advisory board, has been working with me. So all of the market types are based off different personality types and how you would talk to them. It's a fascinating subject. I can go into loads of detail with you at the stall or whatever, but that's what they're based off of. And like I say, I've been using that for 20 years with clients of mine in an offline sort of a way to help develop the quality of the content that we put out for them without AI. And this is just now plugging it into that.
Brilliant, Simon. Thank you so much. Yeah, as a marketer myself, as we discussed earlier, I'm always looking for opportunities to find ways of making my content quicker and more efficient to produce. What I was curious about is because I work with startups quite a lot, I've seen a few of these marketing-related content generators, and I'm just wondering what your concern is about competitors in the market and how you kind of stand out from them.
I just realised I didn't answer that that part of your question, but thank you very much for doing it. So yes, the truth of the matter is that there are other products out there that are trying to do this. The major players in the market, the HubSpots, the Hootsuites, all of those sorts of things are adding things like tone of voice to the content they're be able to create. The truth of the matter is that when you look at these products, what they're doing is they're expecting you, the customer, to know what your tone of voice is and to come up with something that's interesting and relevant. And frankly, my experience of working with my clients over the years is that if you ask most people what their tone of voice is, they will say professional and friendly, which is why I ban them from using them when I use them with my clients. So it does exist. What doesn't exist anywhere else in the world is the market types model. And that's where I think that's based off, like I say, to some degree, the psychological typing, but also the experience and the study of some of the most effective marketing there is out there. So there is competition. I would say it doesn't have the secret sauce underneath it, which is the market types element. And what I also should say is all the images you saw in that presentation were all AI generated as well, with a human in the loop, which is something we offer as part of the enterprise package. And like I say, image generation and even video AI generation is available. It is working, but there is just nobody doing it at that level for marketing it at this point in time. And so we feel like if we can do a raise now and start really developing the product, we could potentially be way ahead of anybody else who's trying to do that.
Thank you so much for your energy. I love that this morning. I'll say my name is Laura Babora Banana Fanafafora. Do you think it would have predicted that? On that note, what's sort of the differentiation, that say something like ChatGPT is making of your tone of voice when it's deciding, I want this to be written in this particular tone of voice, and it's replicating it, and what you're doing? I want you to kind of go a bit deeper, technologically speaking, on that. And then secondly, if there's time, to talk a bit more about your customers and the pricing model that you think will be coming into play and the opportunity there. What are they actually looking like, your customers, and how big does this get?
So customer-wise, we think we have three potential. We have startup founders who are probably going to use our free version of our model to create just social media content. If you pay a little bit more than £25 on the enterprise, that's where you're probably looking more at marketing professionals within SMEs who are probably going to be needing to create more than just social content, emails, blog articles, all those sorts of things in the same tone of voice. And then, as I've already kind of mentioned, the enterprise is where we add in images as well. And that's probably the sort of thing that we anticipate being used by marketing agencies. Size of that audience, I mentioned 40 million is the global, that's the kind of UK, US and Australia SME size of the market. the English-speaking part of the world. Fundamentally, we're targeting in terms of a SOM. There's about 5.7 million SMEs in the UK. There's also 25,000 marketing agencies, so we know who we're dealing with there. And like I say, I mentioned kind of our obtainable market in the pitch there. Could you just remind me quickly of the first part of your question? Sorry.
To delve into the difference between what's currently available in the market and anything that you are offering in terms of your technological approach that really drives your proprietary in any way. So the difference.
A really good question. At the moment. Oh.
Hi, I'm Kate, founder of Wilder, the app which prompts people to connect to nature to improve their well-being. We know that 85% of people want to get outside more, but that time, weather and motivation stop them. Wilder helps people to overcome these barriers in 3 simple steps. 1, people choose a challenge to inspire them to get out the door. 2, people then enjoy screen-free time in nature. And 3, people then take a photo and share it with the community to inspire others to do the same. You may well be sat there thinking, that's a nice idea, but surely it's counterintuitive to use tech. And even if it works, how would this make money? Well, to answer why we use tech, I could tell you that 6 years ago, I had a mountain bike accident. This was the moment my life changed. I went off this drop, flipped over the handlebars, and unfortunately landed on my head somewhere down here. This took many years to recover from, but it also gave me a gift. It made me stop. And when I did, I was amazed by how noticing the tiny details in nature, such as these water droplets on this spider web, instantly stopped my spinning mind and brought me back into the present moment, making me feel better. My experience made me realise that the missing link between people and nature is simply a prompt. With phones never far from our hands, there seemed no better place to prompt people to put them down, look up, and notice nature. But I'm sure what you actually want to know is just, does it actually work? So let me tell you. Launched 1 year ago, we've now had over 3,000 downloads, but most excitingly, over 15,000 photos of people's mindful moments in nature have been shared to the Wilder app. This is a snapshot of some of them. And these are some of the stories behind the snapshots. Essentially, people love that Wilder gives them a reason to get out the door and then a focus for something to do when there. But of course, we need to know, how does it make money? So it's now proven beyond doubt that connecting to nature improves mental health in a big way. But how to do this in an accessible way and on scale is a problem which all of these organisations have shared with me. All of these organisations have come to me and spoke to me about using Wilder because they love that it offers a tangible solution to their problem. We're currently undertaking 3 paid pilot studies with the National Trust, and we're in talks with further projects in the pipeline, including a pilot study with the NHS. With the National Trust, we set up 3 site-specific challenges, and we've also got a planned full launch for the app at Brownsea Island next summer, a site which has over 120,000 visitors each year. The size of the opportunity to scale is huge because Wilder could be applied to any outdoor site. From market testing so far, we know we could charge around £3,000 for an initial challenge setup, and that also people would be prepared to pay then a monthly fee for having content hosted on the app. If we were to look at rolling out 150 sites over the next 3 years, this would result in a revenue of over £700,000. The exciting thing is that although there's a big increase in the number of nature apps in this space, reflecting the growing demand, that Wilder is the only solution which currently offers an accessible way to connect to nature on scale to improve wellbeing. We're currently looking to add expertise to our team to help us to scale so that Wilder can become a familiar site at locations across the UK. If you've been convinced that Wilder is that missing link between people and nature and you're excited by the opportunity, I'd love to chat. Thank you for listening.
Hi, Kate. Thank
Hiya.
you so much. Really exciting. Just allowing people to get out into nature and be able to actually experience it in a way that's actually new and innovative. I was curious to know about how the sort of business model here, because it sounds to me, is it effectively a B2B application, and do users pay for it, or is it free to use for the actual user?
Yeah, good question. I think there's potential for both. The thinking has always been, let's have it free for the customers. One, in terms of people need this, but not closing off to that being freemium with a premium offer. But equally, at early stage, we need to get people on the app with no barriers, right? So right now, that isn't our route. We do know features people will pay for, but yeah, that's not our priority right now. We've had people coming to us saying they have budgets for this, so that route, B2B, is where we're getting the traction. So it seems to make perfect sense that we can get those bigger customers. That's obviously a viable route, and then we can add in the premium option for users down the line. No worries.
Amazing. I love a founder that turns their pain into power. So
Thank you.
that's really inspiring. You mentioned the accessibility piece. Are you launching in areas where there isn't a lot of outdoor spaces? Because that seems like a market demographic that would really benefit.
Yeah, 100%. I think the cool thing about Wilder and why we've kind of had that traction is that it can be used anywhere. So it can be used at a site, so like the National Trust example I gave you, but it can also be used from the moment you go outside of your door. So whether you have a green space that you think on your doorstep or not, whether that's a park or a woodland, actually through using Wilder, people realise that nature's there from the moment you go outside. So for organisations, that means we can have something like National Trust in your pocket. So they've got their content, and from the moment you step outside, you're thinking about them and they're facilitating that experience for you. So some of the sites we're looking at are in place or are specifically for that reason. But actually the cool thing is that it could be used anywhere. And we do have a lot of people in the cities and that kind of stuff that go, I never realised these things were on my doorstep. So yeah, it's a cool opportunity.
Yeah, I think following on from that, really great idea. Love the concept, and of course, everybody wants to be enjoying nature, but of course there are areas of London, where people don't have as much access. So, potentially reaching those people is a huge opportunity. How do you achieve that scale? So we saw a lot about the UK there and the partners that were mentioned. What does that landscape look like, around the world? And then in comparison, I'll pick up on Burda there. Burda lent more towards having the partnership angle with some of those bodies, rather than they necessarily being the customer. There are ordinary people using the app who are also the customer. So sort of achieving that scale and sort of the go-to-market sort of next phases. And then also, if you can include how much you've raised today and how much you're looking to raise at the moment.
Cool. I might need a bit of clarification on the Burda one, but in terms of answering the last one. So this has been built on 35K, so we're part of Launchpad Incubator. So we've done it on a shoestring, could easily have been done on a lot more. But yeah, my background as a primary school teacher, so that prepares you in a lot of different ways, as you guys will know. You're gonna have to recap. Sorry, the Burda one. Just give me a little bit more clarification.
Yeah, it's more. It's actually a lot of questions that I'm trying to get into really one, which is what's difficult. How do you achieve that scale? Is it with the B2B side?
Yes.
Or is it with the wider market? And I don't know if you know about how Burda have been successful or how far they've gotten, but they might be an interesting use case to talk more about.
They've done a similar model of like challenges and working with people in a similar way. Yes. So for me, it's B2B because they've already got those audiences captured. We can look to expand, and we know through marketing. So last year we did a 50-day test spend for £10 a day. We got 100 people downloading the app, right? So the traction's there. We can put the spend in and use influencers and that kind of stuff, but definitely more through partnerships. So alongside people like the National Trust and the other organisations, we've also been working with people like Waterhall, who make the sunglasses out of recycled fishing gear and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of brands that are interested in being in a place like Wilder. I think when it can be the place to be through someone leading on it like the National Trust, that will attract other people. That's what's already happened from having one site, then 10 sites in the National Trust want to be interested, and then it'll be other brands like Forestry England. That's it, that kind of snowball effect. So I think that's definitely the route to go, and following the lead of Burda in that way, who's shown that's a model that works. So yeah. All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm Michael, CEO and founder of Amutree. And, there we go. And I'm here today to present the fastest way in the world to transform product design data into high-quality 3D experiences that inspire action. So communicating built world or built environment design concepts is time-consuming, expensive, requires specialist skill sets, and also is fragmented across multiple software products, multiple software solutions, making it super difficult to adopt, really difficult to manage, and really expensive. And Amutree changes all of that. We've built the fastest way in the world to transform design data on the left into visually rich 3D experiences, as we can see on the right-hand side. So at its core, Amutree transforms really complex product design data into clear, compelling 3D experiences accessible across a range of devices in seconds, saving time, money, and complexity. Amutree's user-friendly, easy-to-use design enables company-wide adoption, enabling seamless product showcasing across entire organizations in real-world context. So this opens the door to enhanced understanding, accelerated decision-making, and maximized ROI and staff costs. So nobody else in the market offers seamless 3D experience creation and insight capturing in a single, easy-to-use platform. Our competitors require really large investments of time, skills, and money, barriers that Amutree don't solve impose on our customers. Simply put, without Amutree, our target market is unable to clearly and effectively communicate their product's concept. So we're targeting a £2.1 billion opportunity based on annual contracts ranging from 50 to 500k. We're projecting rapid but sustainable growth with over 2,000 customers by 2029. Our initial focus is on manufacturing, engineering, and academia, with expansion into architectural, interior, and lighting design during 2027. So in terms of our pricing, we're forecasting early adopter contracts ranging between 30 and 230k annually. And we're going to increase to 50 to 500k contracts with a little more features, a little more maturity, and upsell opportunities with our customers. And our pricing really is aligned with the needs of our customers and based on setup fees, licensing, and products usage measured in minutes. So in terms of feedback to date, it's been incredibly positive. Our customers highlight how Amutree helps them to quickly test design concepts with stakeholders, enhance product presentations, increase sales, and drastically reduce waste. So we're currently raising funds this year to enhance our products, convert our pipeline to annual contracts, and secure additional customers and further expand throughout 2025 and 2026. So far, I'm really proud to have built an extremely experienced leadership team with proven success in products, design, and launch with companies like Red Bull Racing, Autodesk, the University of Leeds, Coventry University, Epic, and Intel. Alongside a product development team with world-class experience at Pretty Little Thing, Amazon Web Services, the Catapult Network, and Family University, alongside an advisory team with startup fundraising, building, and exiting experience with organizations including IBM, MIT, and Brunel University. We're already backed by GameTech Ventures, the FSE Group, and Launchpad Futures, and have secured the largest Innovate UK Smart Grant available, raising over just over £1.2 million to date. And we're currently seeking 500k by December this year to accelerate pilots to annual contracts ahead of closing a £2 million seed round during Q2 2025, with match funding already in place. We've also just applied for a new Innovate UK Smart Grant application as a follow-on from a previously successful application as well. And that's Amutree. Thank you very much for listening.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for that. So you talked about the beachhead being potentially manufacturing, engineering, and architecture. Of course, there are some products which are catering to those markets that I would understand, which would be potentially similar. So, what exactly is differentiated about your product? Second question would be on the grant side. Does that relate to the grant that was unlocked? I.e., what was the premise of the grant being realised? And that might be interesting to delve into.
Absolutely, awesome. Yeah, so I guess competition like Twinmotion, Lumion, and Enscape all require specialist skill sets, lots of time, and lots of complexity and money to produce the experiences. And Amici really is the first time that the entire process of visualization of design data has been automated and made really simple, really quick, and super effective. So we've essentially repackaged the notion of 3D visualization into a really easy to use product. And our sort of current sort of customers in manufacturing, engineering, and lighting have been selected just due to the fact that they're currently completely unable to visualize their design proposals to stakeholders internally and externally. So companies like Rolls-Royce with nuclear power stations, think about sort of other organizations in the clean energy space with hydrogen plants as well. So we've sort of picked an industry that has really large, complex products, which currently the incumbents are just unable to visualise meaningfully. And the smart grants that we secured last year was just under £500,000, and that was to bring our products towards market readiness in context of virtual reality. So it enables us to implement and sort of roll out VR support in Amici. And this next application is to sort of build in an AI component, which enables us to essentially gather feedback en masse. So it's sort of turbocharged stakeholder engagements where it's like a chatbot that receives information from thousands of people on a project in context of Amici's 3D visualization, and that's processed, summarized, and provided back to the likes of Rolls-Royce, for example.
Amazing. I used to work for Innovate UK. I know only 5% of applicants are successful, so massive congratulations. You kind of already touched on this, but what other features are planned on your roadmap, and what does that timescale look like?
Yeah, so at this point in time, there's a kind of an underlying thread of continually increasing the number of file formats that we support in Amici. So right now we support a range of sort of CAD and BIM formats. That's going to have to be increased exponentially as time goes by. So think about interoperability with our customers' design data. And then just thinking more about, in terms of sentiment analysis, perhaps using NLP to sort of understand feedback from viewers of Amici experiences. That's one sort of thread. Really alongside just thinking about additional features in and around sort of immersive technology and virtual reality. So we had a lot of requests from companies to support augmented reality experiences as well. So they would like to sort of visualize their products using AR solutions. That's on the roadmap as well. And we've just achieved VR support, which needs a little more enhancement in terms of user interface and usability. So that's planned for sort of next year as well.
Amazing, thank you.
No worries.
Hi, Marco. Yeah, it's great, really great to see you, an alumnus of Slush'D back again. So it's really good to see you. I was kind of curious to know, there's quite a lot of parts to Amici and to what it does. What would you say its primary function? Is it to make things easier? Does it make it cheaper? What does it do that the other providers don't do?
Yeah, it's really all of the above. It's faster, it's more cost effective. It's essentially drag, drop, and visualize in seconds versus, it currently takes weeks, if not months, to produce a high quality 3D experience, depending on size and scale of the product. So with a nuclear power station, with hyper complexity internally and externally, it could be weeks, if not months. With Amici, they can just drag and drop, or Rolls-Royce can just drag and drop design data into our platform. And we use pretty hardcore automation, a lot of microservices, a lot of C++, and yeah, there's no AI in the loop. It's just pure hardcore automation that turns design data into high fidelity 3D experiences. And we use the Unreal Engine to render these in the cloud, and it's pixel streamed as a video stream to any device worldwide. So it's just drag, drop, visualize. Yeah.
Could you talk a bit more about your customer pipeline and where you're on that?
Yeah, so we've built £1 million in sales pipeline that's going to be closing throughout next year. We're seeing annual contracts with clean energy companies between currently 500 and 750k annually, which is punchy but attainable. And with lighter manufacturers, slightly smaller, between 50 and 100k, but in combination, it's £1 million of sales pipeline next year, which will bring us to £1 million in ARR and land us up nicely for our Series A during 2026, hopefully. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
Hello, Michael. Thanks for the all black. All good. Cool. I'm Mike. I'm from Output Industries. I'm CEO and co-founder. Start with a question. Anyone here got a smartwatch, fitness tracker, step counter? Quick show of hands. Amazing. Right. We all have the power to look at data and be informed about our performance, understand what we are doing, and make a decision to perform better tomorrow or in a minute, which is great. Data can power that insight. It's that mindset that we've taken into the manufacturing sector. But what we found is, and what we know is, actually manufacturers have a very big problem. They have a lot of data and they don't know what to do with it. They really don't. So with that insight, what we've created is a product called Busroute, the complete analytics platform for manufacturers. What we do is we capture data in real time from open source hardware. We don't make hardware, we're a software company, all available through a SaaS subscription. Busroute can connect to any industrial asset, regardless of age or size, age or brand, and we can get data flowing into the cloud, into our platform very, very quickly. Factories are no longer factories, they are data factories. Tesla is testament to that. We won't talk too much about Mr. Musk. To date, we have over 25 customers using our products, and they range from SMEs all the way up to enterprise customers such as Terex, Kawasaki, Polo Tires. And we have a broad spectrum of manufacturing styles and sectors. So we have industrial bakeries all the way up to rubber tires manufactured in India. So a real spectrum of manufacturing styles. All of the data that we use is accessible everywhere by anyone. So it's a cloud-based solution, all available as a SaaS subscription. We know that the market is massive. The manufacturing analytics and business intelligence market globally is worth £22.5 billion. And we have a real clear path to revenue scale. We're already at 31K monthly recurring revenue right now. And we have a sales pipeline that will support our growth across the rest of this year into 25 and across the remaining years. So how do we win in this market? What are we doing that's different? Our secret sauce is the full data, what we call full data context. We're not just capturing real-time data. That is obviously very, very important, but we are blending that with what we call manufacturing context. What's happening? What's the schedule? What are we making? How long should that product be made for? The real-time data and the master data that powers the real value and allows manufacturing leaders to make informed decisions quickly. We have extremely quick, rapid value, and we have a partner network that will scale and deploy our software and hardware for us. We've created a crack team that blend digital product and manufacturing experience. So Tom and I have worked together for nearly 12 years, also with John, and we have Hizmi Hassan, who's Chief Digital Officer of Apollo Tires, that sits on our board. We are currently fundraising, looking to raise £1.2 million as seed round, with over 50% of that committed. We believe and we know with access to real-time production data, manufacturing organizations can be more efficient, more productive, and more sustainable. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
I just want to pick up on the last word you said there, sustainable.
Yeah.
It was exactly where I was going to go with this. So where do you see itself implementing in terms of the sustainability metrics?
So alongside the actual manufacturing production data, we also capture energy data alongside that. So we're energy attribution alongside production data. So inside larger supply chains, there are now ESG and net zero requirements where manufacturing organizations will have to report not just on how much are we spending on heating the building, but also how much energy is being attributed to creating a product. So we're doing that in parallel.
Can I ask one more question? Which would be, would you be able to collect data around waste? In particular, you're working with some pastry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
interesting, their waste levels.
that comes in what's called the operational equipment effectiveness. So OEE is a metric inside manufacturing, and that's really falls inside their quality. We can capture quality, and that can be, as you say, waste, pastry not being used, sulfur in a tire not being used. Absolutely, we have dedicated signals that we capture from our open source hardware. We don't capture every signal that's available. We capture the signals that we need to power our platform that provide value back to the customer.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm really interested in this, partly because I work with an organization that does business intelligence in a very different sector. But one that my question is around, often we find in our business that it's actually the people don't always get the best out of the data they're getting. They get the information in. How do you help them to get the best out of the insights that you're providing for them?
Yeah, it's a great question. The platform itself is super user friendly and easy to use. But what we are building into the product and what we continually do is we're adopting a Duolingo style kind of nudging and encouragement user behavior. So it's weekly summary emails. It's those kind of behaviors that we're trying to get into our user base. What we do find is by providing this data, it becomes intrinsic. It becomes the spine of the organization because it's forming the backbone of of production meetings at 9 o'clock every single morning. It becomes that crutch that the manufacturing production managers rely on so heavily. So we've got very active super users that are using it every single day, but also we're making sure that we're nurturing anyone that may have slightly lapsed, and we see lapsed as maybe a day through proven Duolingo style nudges.
Thank you. Really, really interesting. I wanted to know what particular functions make it suitable for smaller manufacturers as well.
In terms of the software itself, or just overall? I can answer both.
Yeah, both. Yeah, go
Cool.
both.
So for the benefit of an SME, it's an affordable solution and what we call batteries included. So inside our subscription, you get the hardware you need, you get the access to the platform. We don't currently charge for number of users. It's a very simple structure of starting around £150 per month per connected machine. So SMEs can get up and running very, very quickly. We have a partner network of industrial electricians, particularly here in the UK. So installation can be handled exactly already by a team. So open the door, they'll plug it in. An hour later, you've got the visualizations, you've got that data. So SMEs see the real value of, it's not adding to my workload. I'm just trying to make my stuff and get out the door. I'd love this. Oh, great. The service is provided around it. So that's how we see it. And in terms of the visualizations, we've built what we understand to be core manufacturing visualizations. So going back to, I think it was Simon saying, customers don't actually know what they want. Manufacturers are very much the same. We've already built that visualization for them, and we have an active development team, product development team that can respond to customer feedback, and by getting that feedback, the community of manufacturing benefits.
25 seconds left.
Very quickly, could you talk about the incumbents and exactly what is present before you came along? So what potential threat is there from incumbent technology?
Yeah, so in terms of the competitive landscape, we broadly have kind of three areas. I'm going to run out of time. Is large enterprise software providers such as Siemens, very slow, very cost, very, very heavy. I'm done. I'll follow up with you.
Well done.
Hello, I'm Jeff. I'm a dad to 2 kids, 2 dogs, Penny the chicken. I run Nuki Handball Club, and I help my mum out on a Thursday evening. I'm also CEO of Time for Good. It's where you and I can micro-volunteer for charities, causes, and importantly, each other. So, like you and everybody else in this room, I'm a busy person. And busyness is the reason that volunteering is in decline. but it's not for a lack of want. People want to do good, kind things in their communities. And that's where Time for Good and micro-volunteering comes in. It's how we fit volunteering into our lives around the things that matter most, obviously. So, formal volunteering is on the decline, but micro-volunteering is on the incline, and it's driven by millennials and Gen Z. And we want to be the catalyst that really explodes this trend. Because when Gen Z get hold of something, damn, they get hold of something. They're a socially conscious generation. We've met Harshita at one of our focus groups at Plymouth Uni. Her and her friends are buzzing to get on Time for Good and start volunteering in their community, building their CV at the same time. We are launching on the 1st of October with our new besties, Citizens Advice Plymouth. Having presented to them a few months ago, they just got it straight away. They've already got avenues for regular volunteering, and that's great. They don't have avenues for micro-volunteering. They tried Facebook, but stuff gets lost and Facebook fills your eyeballs with adverts. So there's a movement and a need, and we're going to fulfill that need. But it's not just Harshita's generation. There's 28 million volunteers in the UK. There's 800 plus million volunteers in the world. So the market's huge, but how do we make money? Well, it's not from advertising, because we don't want to be like Facebook. We're talking to some giant companies. One of them in the drinks industry wants to spark 3 million small acts of kindness in local communities, and that is what we do. However, premium accounts are going to be our biggest driver of revenue, and there's 4 tiers. We'll always facilitate kindness, giving and receiving kindness for free. But as you go up the tiers, it unlocks certain other features, and we've tested all this with the relevant, the relevant targets, and everyone's very receptive. So we're very confident in this pricing. Reaching 1% of the UK volunteer market at a 3% conversion rate brings in £1 million. Reaching 1% of the global market brings in £30 million. But to get there, we need to grow. So I mentioned we're launching in Plymouth, well, with a focus on Plymouth, and we need to take that model and get some help, bigger team, to apply it to Birmingham and Bristol and Alabama. We need to build the dev team. We need marketing. We need all sorts. But my ask is not for money today. It's for your ear and your empathy and your interest, because just around the corner we will have achieved our KPIs and we'll open Series A. We want to start the conversation now with like-minded investors. So we're going to launch with a splash in Plymouth, but not a Tom Daley splash, a proper Peter Kay splash. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, really interested in this. It sounds really exciting. My interest is actually around the business model.
Yeah.
Because obviously getting people to pay once, getting people to pay every month. Where do you see your primary revenues coming from? Is it from the users themselves? Are you targeting large organizations as being the main source of revenue going forward?
Mm-hmm. So at the 4 bands of premium, 3 bands of premium membership. The first one is for individuals. We tried it with uni students in Plymouth Uni, and surprisingly they were extremely receptive to it, because we were thinking, should it be 99p? They were fine with £4.99 because it unlocks features like your social CV. So everything they do in the community will be put on, they collect thank yous. So say someone designed a poster for Citizens Advice. Citizens Advice would say thank you, their time would be logged, and the thank you would go onto their profile. We collect thank yous, not likes, and kindness, not shares. Going up the bands, we're looking more at the Citizens Advices of this world. I spoke to Healthwatch Devon yesterday and mentioned that the tiers will be coming in shortly at $19.99 a month, but they could see the return on investment through the micro volunteering because it's a new avenue for them. So we're confident in that pricing, as the primary source of income.
Thank you. I love this. It's a really lovely idea. I'd love to know a little bit more about how you want to achieve scale and how you're going to go about that.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we're launching in Plymouth. No, we're launching to worldwide from the 1st of October, but our focus is on Plymouth because of our partner Citizens Advice Plymouth. So their needs are stuff like a translator and then people to check that translation, designers, photographers, all sorts of things. So we need to get lots of people on board who have these skills. One route is Freshers' Fairs. So there's 2 unis in Plymouth. We're going to both Freshers' Fair. But we also want to make a big splash in the wider community. So we're going to be collecting thank yous in the street and building a wall of kindness, because we want to bring out the kindness that's happening behind the scenes and display it for everybody to see. So, and hopefully that'll be press worthy and generate lots of buzz in the community. So, and that model that we're applying, and we're talking to the council and lots of organisations, all based around the same place. So that's a model that we'd take and apply to other places.
Hi. Beautiful initiative. I was interested in the initial stat, actually, because the UK has one of the highest rates of volunteering of sort of any Western country. And of course, the pandemic set the benchmark very high because the numbers swelled during that time period. So can you talk to me a bit more about what micro-volunteering is and really what are those key numbers that tell us that this is, the next big trend to be involved in?
Yes. Yeah, you're right to say the pandemic sort of sparked micro-volunteering. There were people picking up each other's prescriptions, bringing shopping and all these kind of things. So micro-volunteering really went up during the pandemic. It has gone down, but it's still slightly above where it was pre-pandemic. And it's increasing. So it's for charities, causes and each other. So I could design a poster for Citizens Advice Plymouth. Like I say, I helped my mum out on a Thursday evening. If I set up a circle for her, the Granny's Lane circle where she lives, and I was away on a Thursday, I could post, say, would anyone mind picking up my mum's shopping today? And someone would do that, and we'd log the time, and they'd get a thank you from me, and they'd receive a kindness reward, kindness points as well, which I didn't mention, but it's like a sticky feature that we're one of the sticky features that we've sort of been inspired by Duolingo and others to keep bringing people back. And kindness rewards unlock, kindness points unlock rewards within the community. So it's kind of like a cycle like that. But yeah, so charities, causes, and like on a very micro level as well.
And there you have it. Those are our 9 startups. Please give them all a massive round of applause. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling hugely inspired by all of them. Well done, everyone. I know how stressful that can be, but you all absolutely smashed it, and the judges have certainly got their work cut out. We will be announcing the winner at 5:20 today. So please do stick around for that. The judges are going to go and spend the day deliberating. They're not going to tell me the winner because I can't keep a secret. But yeah, do come back in this room because we'll be announcing it in the closing remarks. But well done. You all did brilliantly. So just to say thank you to our judges as well. And again, for Google Cloud for partnering on this and for all the companies and supporters that put in a prize for the pitch competition winner as well. We can't do this sort of thing without you. So thank you so much. And if all the startups and judges, could you join me on stage? We're going to have a photo now. There is a break now until midday, so you can head out to the main foyer, browse the exhibition, and grab yourself a cup of tea as well. And please join me back here at midday as we start the afternoon's worth of talks. But thank you and well done again.